A pleasant good morning to everyone and welcome to another edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Coles Brown. Here's what's coming up. I simply call it the guest menu for July 13th. Our very special guest will be Coach Terrence Graves, head football coach at Southern University. Of course, the panel will be joining us, and hopefully we will have Coach Pettaway. I spoke to him briefly this morning. He said he was feeling much better, and he was looking forward to joining us today on the Carlos Brown Show. Willa Brown, Charles Edmond, the panel joined us, and hopefully Coach Vann Pettaway. Here's what's trending on the Carlos Brown Show. HBCU Go unveils their 2024 football TV schedule. We'll get into that in the first segment. Also, the SIAC football predicted order of finish. It's something we will go over. And then NBA news and notes. Got some interesting topics within the NBA news and notes to talk about. With that being said, good morning to everybody. Make sure you hit the like button, thumbs up button, notification for not only the Coles Brown Show, but all the shows on the Black College Sports Network. Thus, now we bring in the panel. Charles Edmond, Willa Brown, and there he is, Coach Pettaway. Good afternoon, Willa. Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Coach Pettaway. Coach Pettaway, how are you doing? We missed you, and we're glad that you're doing much better.
Well, I miss you guys, and trust me, man. It's if you've ever had knee replacement, total knee replacement, you know what I've been going through. I had the surgery on July the 1st, and then we had some complications, but I can see brighter days ahead now. But this knee has been giving me a problem for the last couple of years, and I knew it was going to have to happen, but we got it out of the way, and now all I got to do is just continue to rehab and get it stronger. And man, I miss you guys. The pain has been so intense at times that where, I could even just sit and I wasn't able to just sit and conversate. So I'm just happy that I can do it today. Today is the first time that I'm sitting upright. I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if I can go the entire show. But I look forward to it, man, because we've missed a lot in the sports world.
Yes, sir. We're glad that you're doing better, and you just let me know if it gets to the fourth quarter and you need a break. you can have it. You earned that right. But very glad that you're doing okay, and the Creator is good. He is good. Bring you along. HBCU Go unveils their 2024 football TV schedule. Charles Edmond and the panel, the secondary television broadcast now, still more coverage for HBCUs from the SWAC, MEAC, SIAC, and the CIAA.
Yeah, I like to schedule myself, and it's good. This HBCU Go thing is really, I think, taking off. I mean, you can watch the games online on your phone. You can even look at some of the old games from last year or the year before. So, I mean, I think it's a really good schedule. And as you mentioned, the secondary rights. The one thing I thought about when I saw the schedule is I was looking for the big marquee games, but we know that where that's going. So I'm glad that the Go is back there and doing some good things, and it's going to be some interesting games to say the least for us. Our homecoming game with UAPB, that's going to be a big game for us. That's one of the games on the Go, and I think with the uncertainty in this league, with a lot of new coaches, a lot of new faces, new quarterbacks, a lot of moving pieces, every game is going to be important, and to have those games on the Go is even more so.
Coach Pettaway, the race sometimes not won by the swiftest, but the ones who endure. And it's going to be a interesting season. I was on a show this past Monday, Golden Boost podcast. I enjoyed it, and I kind of made my predictions, kind of looking at the game. That's just it. Predictions. But the good thing is it's going to play.
Yeah.
Carlos, your mic was breaking up there a little bit.
Carlos, yeah, but Carlos, I'm looking. I like the schedule too because I know they picked up Bethune-Cookman, our homecoming game against Bethune-Cookman. We need when we say this is secondary, to me it's primary because a lot of the games on ESPN they're on Plus. You're not gonna be able to just get to them. You got to pay. You got to pay to watch those games. So I think what Byron Allen and his group has done in terms of coming up with a sports media package for these HBCU conferences, I think it's just outstanding.
Okay, let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. You're good now, Carlos.
Okay.
So I hope I answered your question. I think you were asking me a question.
You're fine, Coach. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting it right so everybody can hear me. So we'll move on. I actually kind of looked at the schedule. Of course, the SWAC football schedule. September 7th, you actually have two broadcasts: Tuskegee at Grambling State University, and then Savannah State at Southern University. Now, Southern and Savannah State's going to be on the Grio channel. Hell, I've got all the channels. When I tell you, the budget director has all of the channels here at this house, I can't look at everything. but for us, HBCU and HBCU Go TV, ESPN Plus, all of that, I have it in the man cave. So once again, more exposure, and hopefully we're going to have some outstanding games and competition within that schedule.
Right. I like it better because they're doing the Saturday games, man. Because, historically, when you do a Thursday game, whether it's with ESPN, I don't care who it's with, you don't draw well. And so I just think from a recruiting aspect, putting showcasing some of these Saturday games, I think it'll help some of these programs with recruiting.
Well, I'll tell you what, Charles, man, those Thursday games, Alcorn State and UAPB not playing on the Thursday, huh? Wow.
No, sir.
How many of those games I saw on Thursday?
No, nightmare.
Oh, yeah, we can tell.
Don't remind me, Carlos. I'm getting chills thinking about that, thinking about the 5 hour lightning delays and all. No, I don't even want to go through that again.
And don't forget the bats hitting in the lights.
Oh, yeah.
The stadium. Oh, my goodness. But, the Thursday night games, I think the best one I saw as far as attendance-wise, and, I could be wrong, but I want to say Jackson State and Texas Southern one Thursday. And I want to say Jackson State had, a very small price for the tickets. And I wanted to say they got involved with the high schools in the Jackson area. But, from my memory, that's probably one of the better attended games on Thursday nights. It's just tough.
Right.
And Carlos, you just said it. You can only remember one Thursday game that's been well attended over these years. So that kind of tells you right there in terms of the lack of attendance. I hate to say it. I love this league. I love what we're trying to do, but unfortunately, Thursday nights and SWAC football just does not mix well. But Charlie Neal said it best in terms of the ESPN stuff and the scheduling. If the SWAC doesn't want this, other conferences, and even though the landscape has changed, I think other conferences would probably line up to take those Thursday dates. So it is what it is. As a friend told me, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And so I think that's kind of the way you got to look at it. The Thursday games don't work in terms of attendance. We've seen the empty stadiums, and we just have to kind of go with what the networks are trying to do. But we got more options now. You got the Go, Grio, and ESPN Plus. So maybe there'll be some more expansion in terms of other networks getting involved as this media rights contract comes up.
You're absolutely right. And Willa and Coach Pettaway, Southern University and Alabama A&M in Huntsville, November the 2nd. I think I'll have to get with the budget director on that one. Get a chance to see Coach Pettaway. But
It's gonna be cold, Carlos. Pack your boots. It's gonna be cold. I can promise you, it's gonna be cold in Huntsville.
Well,
it'll be a little chill, but I'll be able to knock the chill off of him. He'll be okay.
hey, I'll take that because man, this summer's been brutal. Hey, let's balance it off with a little cool temperature. But now if it gets under 62 degrees, I'm cold. I'll just let you know that, Coach Pettaway. But interesting schedule as far as HBCU Go on the SWAC football schedule for 2024. And like I said, you have basically 2 games on each specific date. Alcorn and the UAPB, October the 5th. Alabama A&M, Bethune-Cookman. It looks like comes to Alabama A&M. Going to be interesting of that one. Grambling State and UAPB, October the 19th. Texas Southern and UAPB. So it's a chance for a lot of the teams to get multiple appearances on the HBCU Go TV 2020 football schedule.
And Carlos, if I'm not mistaken, I believe ESPN helped out in terms of lost revenue because they are, very aware that, the crowd's not going to be what the crowds would normally be for a Saturday game. And I know I've been at a couple of institutions where, we've gotten right around 100,000 from ESPN for hosting a Thursday night game. Because they knew that, we were going to lose revenue, because that normally if we were playing that same team on Saturday, we get a lot more in terms of ticket sales, that sort of thing and stuff. So, that was a way of them helping out because a lot of schools back in the day used to try to opt out of the Thursday game. I know I've done it a couple of times, or I've done it at least once at Jackson State, and another time at North Carolina A&T. They had a schedule to play our rival, and that ain't a game you want on Thursday night.
No.
I'm talking about losing probably 200,000-300,000 easy.
Yeah.
So that was a way of trying to get around that sort of thing. So I guess it'll help.
Well, when the it'll be interesting to see when the new contract comes, if it's still with ESPN or if it goes somewhere else. How many Thursday night games, or even will that be part of the contract? But we shall see. SIAC football predicted order of finish. Willa, you know a little bit about the SIAC. As I'm going to pull it up right quick, but they had their media day, and of course, Black College Sports Network was there, giving you the coverage. Oh boy, now I'm trying to pull it up here. Slow. But anyway, I'll pull it up. But once again, you're looking at predictions. It gives the fan base something to talk about, get excited about. And then I like to come back and look at it at the end of the season, kind of compare and contrast the predictions. How well did those predictions go? For some of us, we have an interesting track record, Charles. We've nailed some, and sometimes we've bombed on them.
Screwed it up.
But again, that's the good thing about it. It gathers the conversation. But boy, some people are gonna have egg on their faces, and then Charles, we've talked about this before. With the SWAC football predictions that's coming up this Tuesday, SWAC Football Media Day. SIDs and the coaches, right? They pick, but somebody else is missing. Other parts of the media. But another long discussion and another situation where don't hold your breath.
Yeah. I will say this. I've kind of started this. I'm gonna try to make a concerted effort to change that.
Don't do it, Charles. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it needs to happen. I mean, just some things need to happen. And I've been told that once the coach, it starts with the coaches. The coaches have to go along with that of adding different media members from different media sectors. That's where it starts. And if the coaches can all agree at 2/3, it'll go to the commissioner and he will rubber stamp it and it will be a done deal. It won't even go that high up the totem pole from what I've been told. So I think we need to do that in all sports. It needs to be done because SIDs come and go, coaches come and go. I mean, just look at all the new coaches in SWAC football this year. My guess is that they're probably going to go with the teams that won it last year, Prairie View and Florida A&M. And so that's just my guess. I don't know that. We'll know that come Tuesday. But just when you have new coaches and they're not necessarily familiar, you kind of stick with status quo. That's just my guess. Might be wrong, but we'll see on that. But I do think we need some more media folks involved in different angles, newspaper people, some TV people. And I think it'll have a better ballot, a more balanced ballot. And I think it won't be slanted as much as it's been in the past. A lot of conversation. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take some arm twisting from the coaches. But I'm determined to try to make that happen. I might fail at it miserably. It might be an epic fail, but I think it needs to be done.
well, we've been once again talking about this. How long? 5, 6 years?
Longer than that. Probably more closer to 10. I mean, but I think once you see these ballots and how, it's going to get social media play. I mean, once the ballots come out and once these all conference teams come out and who's on it, who's not on it, it's going to get conversation. It's going to get posted, reposted, retweeted, and it's going to scratch some heads for sure. But I think if you have a more diverse ballot with media people that see these games and kind of give you a more balanced opinion, I think it won't be quite as much. It'll always get the play, but I think having different media people on it will make it a little bit better, in my opinion.
And we're probably putting too much stock in this preseason stuff. I think it's still what it is. What it is. It's P-R-E. Yeah. So I mean, to me, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. I guess the kids like it or what have you, that sort of thing. And so, you kind of do it to please them somewhat. But, I mean, we all know that nothing that happens before the season starts really counts for anything. We know it's the end of the season awards that really, really cut the mustard, for us in terms of performance and things of that nature. So, I mean, and that's probably why it's so much discrepancy at the beginning. You're just drawing straws, I think. You don't know who the best right tackle in the league is going to be, at the beginning of the season. And pretty much you going off of last year's things. If the kid from Southern made first team last year and he's coming back, and you're going to kind of lean that way in terms of preseason picks and kind of go from there. But once they've gone through the season, you got a total body of work to go by. And so it's much more valid, the end of the season than at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting, Coach Pettaway, from a coaching perspective.
It's just bulletin board material.
Yeah.
If you're not picked where as a head coach, if they pick you lower than what you expect of your team, use it as bulletin board material. And the predicted order of finish, like in football, like you were talking about the SIAC. Well, the team that they picked number one is what? Albany State. Albany State will probably have a good run in the SIAC. They'll probably have a good run in the SIAC. And then their rival will be right behind them, Fort Valley.
Number 2.
Yep. So they picked Albany first, Fort Valley second, Miles third. Miles should have another pretty good team. They better have a good year since they done kicked our bid out to buy Birmingham Southern. Miles is in the running. You know what? I think that's a great move for their campus too, though.
Yeah.
If they were able to purchase that property, man, I think it would be awesome. But Then you got Miles, and then they're saying fourth will be Tuskegee. So two teams from the way you look at it, you got two Georgia teams, two Alabama teams in the top four.
Yeah.
And in the SIAC. And that's the way that I guess that's the way that the coaches and the media people see it in the SI for the SIAC rather.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, good point. As it was said, it gathers the conversation, get the excitement. But again, I said compare and contrast post-season awards. We'll look and see who won the title.
Yep.
And so it lets you know that when July 4th hits, or after July 4th, it's football time. Benedict 5th, to continue on with Coach Pettaway, Edwards Waters number 6, Kentucky State 7th, 8, Savannah State. I'm looking at that. They come to A.W. Mumford Stadium. Hey, I'm going to look at them as being undefeated.
Edward Waters comes to Alcorn, Carlos. That's our first home game of the year. So that's going to be interesting.
Yep. Take no prisoners. Every team can beat you. That's the mindset that you have to have. 7 Kentucky State, Savannah State 8th, 9th Central State 10th, Clark Atlanta 11th, Allen 12, Lane 13, Morehouse. There's thank you, Melanie. The 2024 SWAC football schedule. As you can see, as we stated, September 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th, October 5th. You can see it. Some good football games. Some very good football games. Wow. Football season.
It's going to be interesting next week to see what the order of finish that they're going to have on the SWAC now. Because when you look at this schedule, Alabama is heavy in Alabama A&M. It's heavy in Arkansas Pine Bluff. Even heavy in Valley.
Yeah.
So what are they trying to tell us? They're trying to get the teams that they feel are going to be at the bottom some more exposure. What is that?
Well, Coach Pettaway,
that's motivation in itself. That's motivation in itself. Because remember, my prediction for A&M is 8-3 now. We going 8-3. I got to get up there. Write it down, Carlos. 8-3, Alabama A&M. So that means that some of you all got to fall.
Well, Coach Pettaway, let me ask you this: is 8-3 with a loss to Alabama State? Will that please the Bulldog?
No, not that question, Charles.
Absolutely not, Charles. Absolutely not. Our fans will go.
Throw that out there. I had to throw it out there.
But I tell you, Coach Pettaway, my boy might be on the clock. He might be
that's my boy. The last time I was in church, I saw Coach Maney. He's getting his forces together.
Well, you know, SWAC Football Media Day is coming up Tuesday, and me and Charles always talk. When you look and see who's there this year, I guarantee you somebody's not going to be back there the following year. and we've seen it over the years.
Yeah.
You know, so with that being said, one of my favorite words, expectations. Seems like they're high at in Huntsville. We're gonna take a timeout. When we come back, also later in the show, we're gonna take some questions. Get them ready for the chat room. And chat room, they're going at it hot and heavy already. We've talked about the HBCU Go unveils 2024 football TV schedule. SIAC football predictions are finished. What we have to discuss also coming up, NBA news and notes. And, I've made some notes. Free agency, Bronny James, Summer League, expectations. That's my word again for Bronny James. And no update on Pat Riley. Now, I hope he doesn't call me during the show, during the break. But the national prognosticators are saying that the Heat and Milwaukee Bucks, they're staying pat. They hadn't done too much in free agency. We shall see. Take a timeout. You're watching the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Hey, Pat, I promise I will get back with you. You got people in the chat room. Pat Riley online too. Hey, come on, Pat. Come on, Pat. Maybe you should think about retiring. I'll call you. Oh boy.
Well, you harsh, Carlos. Is it time for old Pat to hang it up?
Well, you know, it's interesting. My best friend always tells me Pat Riley runs that organization. He's coaching, even though he's not on court side.
Yep.
It could be, but you know what? I think if he retires, I don't think he'll enjoy life being retired. I think, you know, some people like the late, great Eddie Robinson. As long as they continue to do and work and do something, it's better. Welcome back to the Coach Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Happy birthday tomorrow, Cedric. I didn't know Cedric was a JSU alum / fan supporter. God bless you, the Jackson State fans. Hey, they've given me a hard time over the years, but all in good fun because, you know, September 14th, that whole weekend, it's going to be outstanding now that we've got that game to 6 p.m. instead of 1 p.m.
Are you going? Are you going to Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially since now that the game is now moved to 6 p.m., you know, I can do some things, be creative with doing the show in Jackson, finding a place. And, you know, I love to see my Jackson State fans. They're so nice to me. So nice. And hour number 2, like I said earlier, we're going to kind of take some questions from the chat room. Also, if you have a bold prediction or something that you want to see your football team accomplish that maybe you didn't think they will be able to do, that'll be the time. We'll go in and pick some out. With that, Coach Pettaway, you doing all right?
Yeah, right now I'm okay, but I
Okay.
can feel it. It's coming.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
like I say, just let us know. We
yeah.
appreciate you.
I'll do it during a break. When it's time to go, I'll leave during a break. Okay,
Okay.
we're good.
With that being said, number 3 in what's trending, NBA news and notes. We'll kind of switch to that a little bit. Expectations, and man, I got a chance to see the Lakers in the summer league. Well, before I get into that, Coach Pettaway, summer league. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty popular, and it's so important for draft picks, people that didn't get drafted, free agents that come in and kind of set their tone and their agenda. Have you had a chance to look at some of the summer leagues and kind
Right.
of what are your thoughts
I
on
have
it?
been able to watch some of it. And then the summer league is not just for your rookies. Your summer league is for your players that were on your bench that didn't get an opportunity to play that much during the regular season. So this is a time for them to get game experience, so that so that the big heads will have big wigs rather will have an opportunity to see them play, so they can understand about making roster moves. And you can't really put a lot in the summer league, because like the first game that those kids played, they only had like 2 or 3 days of practice. So it's not going to be, it's going to be sloppy. We saw some of that. So you can't put too much stock into a player's performance or non-performance. Now some people will just stand out. Like the number 1 pick from Atlanta, man, that kid is for real. He can really play. The number 2 pick, I think he's with Houston. He can play, man. I mean, we talking about 2 guys from France that can really get it done, man. Those kids can play. The French connection is for real. That's a solid connection. Now, a lot of people still gonna talk about whether or not Bronny James deserved his spot and that kind of stuff. Well, the jury's still out on whether or not he deserves that spot, because offensively he's struggling. But what they keep talking about is some of the things that they like into the floor. Some of the reads that he's already making as a rookie. So the jury's out on him, and they knew going in that that's a long-term project. They weren't expecting Bronny to be ready to play for them this year. Not to contribute. They just need him on the team so they can fulfill his daddy's wishes. They'll end up on the floor playing a couple of minutes together, that kind of thing. But he will not be getting big minutes. He's not ready for it. He hadn't played. And when I say he's not ready for it, this kid missed almost the entire offseason last year with that heart problem. And so even in coming back, they couldn't push him. He hasn't been pushed yet, because they're still trying to take it easy in terms of where he is and coming back, rebounding from his heart ailment.
Well, expectations, whether it's unfair or fair, those expectations are there. I saw a little bit of him. Yeah, he's struggling offensively. I think he's 6 of 26, 23%. But when I'm looking at the summer league, I'm looking at maybe a diamond in the rough, somebody who didn't get drafted, was not on the radar, but boy, has an opportunity. There's that word again, opportunity. To make it. Got a chance to saw Mr. Ware, 7'1", Miami Heat. First game didn't do too well, then came back with a double-double. He may be, from an agenda standpoint, it may take him a while, but he looked pretty good in 2 out of the three games that I saw him in. So once again, it's an opportunity. Then you have, like you stated, some players that they have 1 or 2 years in the league,
right?
And then they get a chance to kind of hone their craft, so to speak. Free agency. Paul George left, gone to Philadelphia. They're trying to win right now. Sound like another institution. Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. Chris Paul, San Antonio. The sensational sophomore, the season experienced guard could be a good relationship to look at. Somebody mentioned last week Kevin Love. I wasn't worried. Got the hotline.
Yep. He re-signed. with the Heat.
Yeah. So with Paul George in Philadelphia, are they one of the two biggest threats to the Boston Celtics, or do you look at the Knicks? And by the way, Coach Graves coming up in hour number 2. I'm going to ask him about this as well with the Knicks. But anyway, Philadelphia, they're in the win now mode, and the key still will be Joe Embiid.
Right. And now, Carlos, you're absolutely correct about that. I think Philadelphia has improved their chances by adding Paul George, but this is what people are sleeping on now. Jalen Brunson could have signed with a max contract, and he didn't. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to leave money on the table so that they can bring some more free agents in there. So I think the Knicks will still be in the mix also. I mean, you look at what they did this past year. They've already brought another one of the Villanova grads in there in Bridges. And I think by him leaving money on the table so that they'll have money to go after some of these other free agents, better look out for the Knicks also.
That's somebody who, hey, wants to win. Now, am I going to put them the number one spot to dethrone Boston? I'm still just not sold yet, but maybe I can't be objective on that. Philly, I think they're a good threat.
And then now a healthy Giannis now might bring Milwaukee back.
No.
They got Dame Dollar there now. Dame, if they're healthy throughout the season, I think they will create problems because this will be their first off season together. Well, then they're really not having it because Giannis is already overseas playing, but playing for his country rather. But I think the off season will certainly help that chemistry on the Milwaukee Bucks, and you cannot count out Giannis as hard as he plays.
Yeah, well, Charles, that's gonna be interesting.
It is, and I think Coach Pettaway, and I think what the pundits have been saying, the most important thing for some of these teams is health. Teams that are healthy. And I think the teams that didn't get it done last year, in part because they weren't healthy. Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler was down. And with the new rules, and you got to play 65 games to get you big money. And so where do you balance trying to stay healthy in terms of, that aspect versus you wanting to get paid and wanting to get your money and then winning a championship? You got to be healthy in certain aspects. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. I mean, if Jimmy Butler was healthy, who knows how far the Miami Heat would go. There are other teams that were banged up. And so how do you balance trying to stay healthy for 82 games, knowing you got to play a certain percentage to get your money, but yet you want to be healthy going into the playoffs? I know basketball, like any other sport, you're going to get nicked up and banged up. But, in the past, teams are kind of sitting guys down the stretch to be healthy. You can't do that necessarily now. You still get paid $50 million a year. So where's the balance in terms of team, in terms of trying to stay healthy and be productive and have the healthiest team you can to win a championship?
And then speaking of salaries, now Carlos, you saw where the new TV contract has come out. TNT has an opportunity to match it, and with that kind of money, with that many billions of dollars in TV, that means that the players' salaries are getting ready to go up.
Yeah.
We're seeing $50-60 million a year. Before it's over with, before it's all said and done, somebody's going to end up making $100 million a year just to play basketball. Watch what I tell you.
Well, it's not far away, and that was one of my notes down.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I actually was going to get to it after the break, but we'll take a break right here. But $76 billion media deal. Whoo, my goodness. But you know what? This is what I'm going to say, Wheeler. If that TV deal, and we see what it is, then we look at the players, people are talking about, wow, look how much money they're making. What are we forgetting in this equation? The owners are making money. And they're making a lot of money because they wouldn't be giving it out. And if I'm not mistaken, with the last contract, 51% goes to the players, and right. 49% to the owners. And you remember that was a sticking point when they had that last strike. So
right,
they're throwing the dollars everywhere.
Bill Russell and Oscar Robertson, them guys didn't have no problem playing 82 games. No. They played 82 games in their sleep. But now we got to give kids rest and all that sort of thing. We scared somebody going to get hurt. You know, I mean,
that's a hardliner coming out.
How soft are these kids? Jesus Christ, man.
Well, I was going to say this, Wheeler, and to Charles' point, I think last year was an extraordinary amount of injuries, more so than, I mean, you have them every year, but I think last year was an exception that, you know, you had the injuries. And you know, Coach Pettaway, you're a former athlete. Willie, you're a former athlete. I don't think you sit there worrying about getting injured or injuries. That's part of the game. It's like if you're driving, you're always thinking about getting in a wreck. You're going to get into a wreck. Mm-hmm. So,
Carlos, get out the strip club and go to bed.
Go to bed. I didn't say that, folks. I didn't say that. Well, we'll put you down. You think that the players are now
they're being distracted.
That's a nice way to put it.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
I promise I'm going to take a break. But Kawhi Leonard, have you heard about him retiring? And when we come back, we also hashtag bring Willa back swag. Jeremiah. Let's take a time out. When we come back, we'll address also the Olympic team. They had me worried in the exhibition. Boy, they started off slow, but they came through. We'll take a time out. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coles
that.
Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Coach Pettaway,
Yes, sir.
Alabama A&M band, what did they call themselves?
Marching Maroon and White. The Marching Maroon and White, and then with those clips are from the Gulf Coast Challenge down in Mobile, Alabama. And if you look real close, the RV was parked right outside the gate. I was right there. That's nice, man. They hit the Bulldogs.
Oh, Mobile. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Can I do this? I got to go to the chat room. And, of course, they're talking about some of the things we talked about so far in the show. Let's see. Let's pick one. Emmett Jones says, Anthony Edwards, $100 million man. Wow. The Ant-Man.
He'll eventually get there. I'm not sure if he's going to be the first, but he'll eventually get there.
Edwin says, A.D. Wheeler, players aren't the same. They didn't have a problem playing 82 games as basketball pitchers didn't have a problem pitching 9 or 10 inning games. Playing year-round as kids hurts team. Famous EA says, so Charles, how in the heck the Pistons, Bulls, Lakers, Knicks, who played a more physical brand of basketball, play 82 games that was even more physical?
Yeah. Very good point.
Well, Carlos, to somebody's defense, I mean, Dr. J and them guys, they played in the Rucker League all summer, that sort of thing. And, so, I mean, summer ball has been going on since the invention of the NBA. So, I mean, these guys find a way to take care of themselves, that sort of thing. My thing is that we got to do a better job of that. Our kids nowadays have to do a better job of taking care of themselves. Injuries are going to happen. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you play any sport, you're susceptible to get injured. I just feel with all that money out there on the table, you got to go above and beyond in terms of taking care of your body, in order to justify somebody having that much faith in you to give you those kind of dollars.
Right.
And that reminds me. Like I said earlier, it was a Golden Boot podcast last Monday night, and the host asked me a question. What's something about this football team or your institution that you think will surprise people? And I said the mental toughness of the Southern University football team. And I said that because Coach Graves exemplifies that mental toughness. I said he's old school, with Coach Richardson, what have you, but he's also new school. But new school doesn't overrule old school. So I said, let's look and see for the mental toughness. And so when Wheeler, I think Wheeler, not trying to put words in your mouth, you're just saying that the players back then are just more mentally as well as physically tough. Okay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because, see, Colin, here's the other thing now. Back in the day, you didn't have as many distractions.
Right.
I'm talking about, I'm not talking about just the clubs now. I'm talking about now, you didn't have the video games. You didn't have
social media.
You didn't have the chat. TikTok. So you can sit up on TikTok, and before you know it, 4 or 5 hours are gone by. You haven't done anything. So see, because in the older generation didn't have much to do, you worked on your craft. If you just went out in your neighborhood, there were neighborhood games going on, whether they were basketball, football, or baseball. You had neighborhood activities that you could participate in. And that's what those kids did. But now when you get downtime, you get on TikTok, you get on that social media and all this other stuff, and they don't put the time in that the older generation did. And the older generation didn't have any more options.
But Coach, by the way, I think we don't stress that either. And I think that's what I'm driving at. We don't stress that. The older guys like myself, We're supposed to be setting an example for these younger guys, that sort of thing. We don't stress that, and that's a major reason for that. These guys play these video games and all that kind of stuff because they think it's okay. They think it's fine. No adult anywhere tells them, look, you got to cut that thing out at such and such time. You got to be, in your apartment at, XYZ. You got to get 8 hours of sleep every night. Nobody emphasizes that, I don't think, to today's kids. We kind of just let them go.
Right.
Maybe they paying us or what have you. I don't know. We don't want to upset the apple cart. But we have to get back to, I call it the old school way of doing things. We got to get back to that. Our kids got to get back to that. But it starts with us, with our group right here. It starts with us, I think.
Well, I agree with what Clark just posted. I mean, these players today on their downtime, what are they going to do? They're going to hop on a private jet and they're going to go somewhere and do something. They're not going to be grounded. They're not going to be situated. That's just not happening. You see it on their social media profiles. They're going to be in the Cayman Islands. They're going to be wherever in Hawaii, and deservedly so. But in terms of being grounded and settled and situated, this generation, they like to rip and run. And they have the money to rip and run. And so as long as they giving you 30 a night, they making $60 million a year. Hey, if your team's in the championship hunt, LeBron James, whatever the case, then fans are going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. Carlos is going to be happy if the Miami Heat are doing what they're supposed to do. But what they do in their private time, how they stay in shape, what they do, how many hours of sleep do they get? Do you care? No, I don't. Give me 35 and let me see my team hoist that trophy in LA, which ain't gonna happen anytime soon, in my opinion. But I could care less what happens, behind the scenes, unless they get into some sort of trouble, and you see that. But for me, taking care of themselves, LeBron spends $1 million a year on training. He has a private trainer. He spends $1 million a year to keep his body right. That's why he's playing 21 seasons or whatever it is. But this generation is totally different. They're not going to sit still. They're going to come and go. They're going to rip and run. They're going to get on a private jet and go somewhere, go to Las Vegas or New York or wherever with their spouses or whomever. That's just where we are right now, in my opinion.
Right.
So, but wait a minute. Who are we talking about?
Players.
We talk. Well, wait a minute. I thought we were talking about collegiate players. That's totally different. With NBA players.
Yeah. Oh, I thought we were talking about the NBA players, in terms of taking care of their body, because we were talking about load management and all that. These collegiate players, it's kind of almost the same thing with the NIL money that they're getting. I mean, tons of
it applies equally to both groups.
Yeah.
Some are getting the NIL.
Well, some are.
I mean, yeah. Because let's be honest, it's the haves and the have-nots.
I agree. I mean, but I think for our conference, let's just say HBCU purposes, it is kind of that old school way to a certain point. But these kids are still going to do what they're going to do. They got cars and they're going to hop in their vehicles and run and rip and run. And trust me, these coaches are going to see whether or not they're staying in shape. These kids are back on campus now, and so we're seeing the ones that are doing what they're supposed to do leading up to camp, and the ones that are not. The ones that are getting NIL money, they got to stay in shape. But for our purposes, that's not exactly happening. They're getting a couple of dollars here or there, but they're still required to stay in shape if they want to be on scholarship and all that. Or else these coaches are going to turn these rosters over exactly what we're seeing right now, because there's so many players in the transfer portal. So it's different at our level. But when we talk about the NBA and we're talking about big time college, the Power 2.5 or whatever it is now, these kids getting so much money, private jets, private cars, they're getting whatever they want, whenever they want, however way they want it.
Well, I think old school is still needed. I remember when school was out, 8 o'clock in the morning came. You before then you made your bed, do your chores, And then guess what? They told you to stay outside. Go outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't come back into lunch, grab a quick sandwich, some chips, get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as somebody said in the
come back
chat
when the
room,
street lights come on. That's right.
That's right. So,
that's right.
You know, and I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I was a non-traditional student in college, older, worked full time, you know, helping a sick mother. It's about balance when you're on the college level, academics, and you know, you have your training, no matter what sport you are. That's that word again, balance. With that being said, it's not to take away fun from kids. You know, you go into college, you're 18 and 19, you want to have some fun. But remember, it's just balance. How you balance your time. You know, Coach Pettaway in high school, it was different. In college, they're not going to beg you to get your, you know, keep up with your academic side. You have to manage your time.
And Carlos, you can still have fun. You can still have fun.
I
mean, nobody had as much fun
just to overdo
4 years of college than I did. They know ifs, ands, and buts about that, you know, but I was always able to keep it in perspective. You know, I knew what my body needed in order for me to perform at a high level each and every day. You know, I knew I wasn't going to let my teammates down in any way. You know, and it's just a matter of, you know, having that self-discipline and being able to monitor yourself, you know. So, I mean, it can be done. It's been done. And there's no reason why we can't get back to that. But I also had coaches that put foot in me all the time.
Right.
And every time they notice a little slip or a little slide, here comes the foot. You know, look, you need to turn this back up a notch. I don't know what you're doing out there, but, you know, la-da-da, so forth, so on. And, you know, we just got to get back to that, period, I think.
Yeah.
That foundation, that's always important. Jeremiah says, good luck to the high school and college coaches, because I would have been suspended every other week dealing with these jokers.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't want to cast a net over all of them. There are some student athletes I do believe still know how to manage their time. They're doing well. But I guess reinforcement is what you need also, Wheeler. As far as, you know, the student athletes. Someone said in the chat room, they brought up Shedeur Sanders. Oh, wow. You know, Rolls Royce, buying houses, and all that kind of stuff. But we don't really see that on the level that we cover. And so some things you don't really have to comment about. And in that situation, that's one of them. That's totally different. That's apples compared to oranges. They're not the same. They're not the same. But as a conference, I think we have good leadership. They're doing everything that they can. They're helping their institutions financially. They're in the black. Can they improve? I think they will. But right now, as far as the conference, they're doing pretty good. And our institutions, for the most part, they still have to make sure that they continue to get better, work on the problems, address them, fix them, and then move forward. As we go, second hour, 12:01. We'll take the top of the hour break. Hopefully we'll catch up with Coach Graves. Southern University head football coach joins us. And then also we're going to be taking some more questions and comments from the chat room. So get ready for hour 2. We're going to take a timeout. You're listening to the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better with a diamond weave texture
your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Boy, I tell you, during the break, Coach Riley, Pat Riley, he said the New York Knicks owe a lot to him for being bringing that mental toughness in that culture. I said, now, Coach Riley, don't you try to start mess when my favorite coach is coming on next, who happens to be a Knicks fan. That's Coach Terrence Graves. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Coles Brown Show. He is waiting. He's ready to go. Coach Terrence Graves, head football coach at Southern University, and also Coach Pettaway. Take care. He had to go into the tent, the health tent, to take care of himself. So we do appreciate him coming on and sticking it out. Coach Graves, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Carlos. Really, Carlos.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Coach.
Pettaway, I was glad to see him. I heard you, Carlos, talking about my New York Knicks. I'm really pleased with the acquisitions and what we've done, and it's going to be hard on you boys down there in Miami now. Outside of the Boston Celtics, I'm saying it now. We the team to beat in the East. You have been one of them.
That hurt.
Yeah,
Carlos. It's all about competition. Hey, Coach Graves, we appreciate you joining us because you've been a busy guy. You've been in and out, helping sell the program. People are interested, and also you're getting ready to make the trip to Birmingham for SWAC football media day. So, with that being said, Coach, overall, the roster is it set, or are you ready to go for fall camp coming up shortly? Were you able to hear me?
Yeah, Carlos. Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The roster is, I would say, 97% set. I'm always looking for that guy, the late part of the summer that's saying, hey, I need to go somewhere else. I'm looking for that disgruntled FBS guy at a certain position to try to add to the roster. But pretty much the roster is set. Majority of the guys are here in summer school or working out during the summer. It was really good to see a lot of the guys that didn't have to go to summer school. Those guys stayed around, and some of them have summer jobs. Some of them, just around. We have a lot of local guys. A lot of the teammates are staying with a lot of the local teammates. Those guys been working out, really working together, doing a lot of stuff together. We also have a summer bridge program going on for all of our signees and our PWOs, Jaguar Success, which that helps the university. That program takes care of those young men, so we don't have to pay that cost. Those guys are housed, fed. They actually get 6 hours of credit, college credit. They get an iPad. They're basically leaving home for the first time and getting acclimated to college over the summer, or at least for about 5 weeks before we start camp. And so that helps us with those young men as well. And then it allows us to do some other creative things. We have a JAGS Elite program for the older guys where we're focusing on professional development outside of football. We're doing financial literacy, conflict resolution, etiquette training, you name it, we're doing it. So anything from how to fix a flat, we're building men. We're committed to that, and it's going well. We had a chance to have a cookout with those guys yesterday, and they really appreciated that after they finished their 7-on-7 stuff. So it's been a busy summer, but it's been a real productive summer.
And Coach, we were kind of talking about earlier, and I'm gonna tie this in. It seems to be so important about bonding, and about the fall camp and the physical bonding. How important is that? Because we're kind of seeing a lot of how important is that overall scheme of football or sports?
Team chemistry is huge. I always say that you don't have to like each other, but you got to love each other. You got to love each other enough to care for one another. You gotta agree. We always say you can agree to disagree without being disagreeable or disrespectful. And so we want to hold each other accountable. We want to be our brother's keeper, and we want to spend time together. We want to do as much as we can together to know one another, to learn. Because now in today's college landscape, you have so many transfers. You want to get those guys acclimated with, especially if they weren't here in the spring. You want to get those guys acclimated along with the guys that you've had for the year. And the more you can do that, it helps you a lot during the season, because when you hit those adverse situations, when the adversity sets in, then what you've done together, how you bonded together, how you gel together makes a huge difference.
We're visiting with Coach Terrence Graves. Let me make an adjustment.
His mic went out there. Coach, Coach Graves, just the importance of the summer. I want to talk about that because our players came back, the last few days. How important is it to try to get these kids up to speed? I mean, because the ones that have been eating hamburgers half the summer, and you want to try to work that out of them. How important is it that your kids come back in the best shape possible, so you don't have to accelerate as you get ready for fall camp?
Well, it's always great to have those guys in the summer to get them acclimated, and whatever they did in their little break, we hope that they will go home and continue to work out with the summer workout manual. But not a lot of them, but some of them are going to do just what you said, Charles. They're going to eat hamburgers and pizza and catfish and ribs and watch social media, TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. But so then it's our job, our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Randall Moore and his staff, they do a tremendous job of getting those guys back. Coach Moore is like a Marine drill sergeant. He's no nonsense, but he's fair and he's balanced, and our players love him, and he gets the most out of them. And then you see a lot of guys doing a lot of extra work as well. I'm up here in my office now, so because some of those guys will come up and want to do something extra. So I'm here with the building open so that they can, have some supervision. So if they want to go out and do something extra, not going to allow them to stay out too long because of the heat advisory. But it's critical. But the thing is, you won't get, Charles, you won't get in shape until you get in camp, because it's one thing to run and work out, but it's another thing when you start putting that EQ on, and you did without that EQ on, you say, hey, I must not have done it. So
well, and hopefully I'm back. Everyone here hears me pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Coach, I don't know if you heard in hour number one, we kind of got in the conversation of the student athletes and mental toughness, and I kind of said, and correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of said about you're old school, of course, coming under Coach Richardson and being a former collegiate football, but you're also a little bit of the new school. You incorporated, but you don't give up on your fundamentals of basically being a hard-nosed, tough, fair coach. With that being said, student athletes, have you seen the difference, say from when you played and 10 years ago, 15 years ago until now?
Oh yeah, Carlos, there's always a difference. The men that played before us, they swear out they had it a lot harder than us. Everybody, each generation, and there's some truth to it. Just as Will spoke about earlier, there's a lot of truth to it, but you have to look at it from a different standpoint. I heard the conversation, these guys, and I tell these student athletes now, I say the difference between you guys and us is we were outdoor children and they're indoor children. And so meaning that they play a lot of the video games, they do a lot of the stuff inside, and you have to, there's a lot of different factors. Unfortunately, the way that society has been for the last 20, 25, 30 years, it's kind of forced them to be inside, because we could be outside, as they said, we could get up at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning and won't come home until the street lights come on, and daddy, mama, grandmama, and granddaddy, they didn't have to really worry about where we were and what we were doing. Now, or back, with this generation, it's kind of tough to do that because of, the societal ills that's going on. It's hard for, it was a time where you would see guys playing pickup basketball and football in the park. And then, I've experienced it as well. You mess around and, guys are playing basketball or football in the park and they have a little altercation. And before you know it, gunplay is involved. So, and lives are lost. And that's unfortunate. The young people have been robbed of the experience that we experienced as young people. And so you have to take that in consideration. But I think that what's hurt them more so than anything is because of that, a lot of that, there's been an overcompensation of the young people. You know, it's a participation trophy. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody, everybody's got to play so many minutes. You can only do this long and that long. We grew up. If you couldn't play, you sat on the bench. Now it's everybody has to play. 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and it's got to be even. So there's a lot of factors to it, but mental toughness. I think these guys have it. I think they possess it because anytime you go out there and you run and work out in 100+ degree weather 4 or 5 days a week, and you don't say boo or bye, it's something to be said because like I tell the players all the time, if it's hot for the coaches, it's showing up hot for those players.
Yeah. With that being said, now we kind of turn to you talked about the roster. Last time we talked to you, you said going to fall camp, positions are still they have to be one. From on the offensive standpoint, how do you feel about your roster going into fall camp?
I feel real good. Feel good about the additions that we have. I know we don't post a lot of. I don't make it a point of posting a lot of stuff on social media in terms of every time we have somebody, you'll see them when you see them. But we've had some transfer linemen, a number of transfer linemen that are here. They're here right now in the summer, and we signed. We had some here in the spring, so the big concern was, we had 10 or 12 linemen in the spring. We have significantly more than that now, and we have some older linemen. It's not high school. The guys that we brought in are all older. They're transfers, be it junior college or college transfers. So I commend the coaching staff on doing a great job of going out and adding the depth and the experience to our offensive line and to our offensive side of the ball. And we've added some depth to some other spots. So I feel real good about where we are right now.
Interesting. I won't pry you for any more because it won't work. You won't tell. You won't tell. And see, I've been knowing you for 20+ years, so I know. With that being said, and I'm just coming from the angle of trying to ask what I think you've probably heard a lot about. Quarterback position. You talked about in the spring that was a position that it's still is a position to be won in the fall. I know you've added a piece at quarterback, but that room still compared. Two. Well, I only knew one. Okay. See. Okay. Oh boy. So okay. Here's a Jackson State guy. It's real carry. I love the depth. He says, Coach Graves, do you expect to win the West?
My expectations is to win.
All right.
Good answer, Coach. Good
yes,
answer.
sir. All right, Mr. Carey. Mr. Carey, I understand that. You're trying to slip a fastball in there. But anyway, back to quarterback play. Added two pieces, 2 young people from the spring, and then Noah Bowden. In fall camp, how do you expect that to go? Competition.
Oh, they're gonna have to compete, as I said before. And competition creates champions. So everybody's got to compete for their job. Nobody has it. A lot of times people think that you're just playing coy. Oh, you know who your starter is. No, I don't know who my starter is because they got to go out and earn it. And that goes back to what I was just talking about earlier about the difference in the generations. When I was in school, the quarterbacks competed in summer camp. When I was at Winston-Salem State playing for Coach Richardson, guys, when they came in, you had to compete. You had to compete whether you were a senior, whether you were a freshman. Case in point, I was a sophomore transferred from Wake Forest and took a job from a senior, a senior that was starting. And that's how Coach Richardson was. He didn't care if you were a senior or you were a freshman. We played true freshmen. We've done that here at Southern in my tenure here. So it's a matter of, guys getting and competing. They're going to get the reps. The guys, and I leave it up to Coach Mark Frederick, the offensive coordinator, and offensive staff to, solidify that, what they do. Him and Coach Todden, they'll sit down and evaluate and see who goes out there. Of course, Noah is he'll have to go out there first because somebody's got to go out there first, but he's the most experienced. So, of course, but Noah understands. Noah's here, too. And Noah understands that those young men that are here as well, they're competing. So it's not like he's sitting back saying, well, I got it all sold up. Trust me, he's in this building. These guys in this building, every chance they get, they're in the building, they on the field, they throwing, they're working together. And that's a good group. They're competing. They understand because Noah understands those other guys in the room, and he knows if he's not on his game, they can very easily surpass him as well. So, and that's like everywhere. Coach Henry Miller's doing the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. We added some, everybody talked about, the losses that we had, but I think that the defensive staff did a tremendous job of replacing and replenishing the positions that we have on defense. So, and then we added another kicker, another punter kicker, Kenny Pham, who transferred from Alcorn State. Sorry about that, Charles. We appreciate you. Charles, those Alcorn specialists have been good for us. So we've added a couple other, we got a couple more long snappers. So we've added depth and we've added to the roster the way that we wanted to do it, and we did it the way that we didn't want to. Everybody was talking about how late in the game it was, and I told y'all before that it was still enough time to recruit and sign quality student athletes that can help us win championships. So I commend my coaching staff for doing a great job of doing just that, giving us an opportunity to compete for those championships.
Wow, look at Charles' face.
Charles. Well, see, Carlos, Carlos, it's not just you. See, everybody. Hey, it's all love here. So like I talk about the Heat with the Knicks, I had to tell Charles, I had to tell him, it's all love, Hey.
Oh, yeah. I understand. We're visiting with Coach Terrence Graves, here football coach at Southern University. Coach Graves, boy, I'll go in the chat room again, another question. But from a running back standpoint, how do you feel about that room?
I told Coach Frederick, don't bring another running back in here.
so have they been additions? I'll ask it that way.
If only way we'll take another running back if it's Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry.
Wow.
we got some running backs. So Kendrick Grimes is back. Corey Russell, he's back. Well, basically all our running backs are back with the additions, and then of course, it's no secret we signed. We have Barry Remo right here from Catholic High State Championship, Catholic High. And, we have a few other guys. So Tice Fusilier, he's back. So we got some running backs. I tell you, I said, man, listen, don't and we get calls and guys come by. What position you play, son? I play running back. Oh, come see me in the spring. We don't have no more room. No. It's like there's no more room in the end.
Well, with that being said, wide receiver core. We had some fans wanting to know about that room, and I know you were talking about adding some pieces. Where are you with the wide receiver room?
Well, we've added some pieces there, and I was pleased with the development of our wide receiver core in the spring. Coach Burrell did a really good job with our wide receivers. Those guys, our young guys, stepped up. We got some older guys. We got a young man back that we didn't have last year, who'll be a senior, Tyler Kirkwood. I'm expecting really big things from him, as well as we have a few other. We have a few other wide receivers. Travian Brown, who transferred from University of North Texas. He's from Shreveport. We have a few others, and I have one that I'm waiting on right now, and he'll be, if everything works out, he'll be a pleasant surprise. As an addition to our program, so I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm pleased. I really like what our coaching staff is doing in terms of filling their room. They went out and filled the rooms. The coordinators really did a great job. I'm always grateful that the administration provided me the opportunity to go out and be able to. Coach A.D. Banks did a tremendous job of finding ways late in the game to allow me and our staff to get out and to get what we need. And so that always means the university administration, the board, all those people have made a commitment to help us do what we need to do. And that's always a plus. When you can get that kind of support, it can only help you enhance your chances of being successful.
Visit with Coach Graves, head football coach at Southern University. Appreciate his time as always. Coach, can I grab a question out of the chat room?
Sure. I'm here for you.
Oh boy, let's see.
I'm here.
EA asks, Coach, to describe the anxiety, of having to go to Bragg this year and face the nation's longest winning streak. Coach, they can't say I'm not fair. And, again, that's an interesting question.
I mean, that game's on the schedule. It's going to be played when it's played.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Great answer. How about that, EA? One game at a time, Coach Graves. One game at a time.
The late Coach Morforte used to always say, you don't eat an elephant whole, you eat them one bite at a time.
Yes, indeed. I would have to agree with that, Will and Charles. Great answer. Now, Coach, Tuesday is SWAC Football Media Day. I'm being blessed, the budget director. I'm gonna be able to make it. I missed last year. You're looking forward to that. I'm sure you've heard about it, you know about it, but now being at the center of attention there.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I know it's going to be a good time. It's going to be good to see the coaches. All us get together. I know Connell Maynard's going to cut up. Connell and I go to the old Winston-Salem State, the North Carolina A&T days. I'm gonna tick him off and get him fired up. Connell was a senior when I was a junior, and they were the number one team in the nation. And we beat them 13-10 at Winston-Salem State, and I intercepted him on the last play of the game in the end zone. So when I bring that up, Connell gets upset. So
remind him of that, Coach Graves.
Oh yeah, we have a good time though. And, some of the other coaches, it's going to be good to see them. It's going to be great to talk to the media. It's going to be great to talk about Southern University football. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, to have this opportunity, of course, it's a blessing to be the head football coach at Southern University, and I don't take it lightly. I'm humbled. I'm honored, and I look forward to it. I'm excited. Once we get out of the business of the head coaches meeting, I think on Monday evening. Once we get out of business of that, we get a chance to break bread a little bit. The other coaches and let our head down and the players, and then on Tuesday we're going to, be about the profession of really promoting the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I'm I'm HBCU graduate 2-time of Winston-Salem State and Grambling, and I went to grad school here at Southern University, 36 hours completed here. So, I'm you cut me to the bone. It's about the HBCUs, and in spite of all the things that are happening in college football, in spite of a lot of things that said, HBCU football is some of the greatest football that's being played across the country. It's always been that way. I will stand in front of anybody and sit and tell that, because that's what it is. We have to learn how to appreciate our own and what we have, because we have a great product. Because a lot of times our own leave here and go on into the NFL, and I'm talking about football, and then they become great products of the NFL. We stick our chests out and say, hey, he's a product of an HBCU, but we need to stick our chests out while they're playing at our HBCUs. And so these young men and women that are at our institutions do a great job, and they do their best to win and represent our institutions at the highest level. They don't take a back seat to anybody, and I think we need to applaud them and appreciate them for that.
Coach Graves, I want to turn a little bit and with Coach Wallace. How is he doing? He's going through something that I'm going through, a challenge. How's he doing?
Oh, he's doing great. I'm surprised you don't hear him from New Orleans, loud as he is. Sean is doing awesome. He's doing awesome. God has really blessed him. He's a living testimony. We try to slow him down a little bit because he is 100 miles an hour. I mean, 100 miles an hour. So he's doing well. He's always active, doing something in the community. He spends a lot of time, doing stuff with these players and things of that nature. And like I said, he's doing well. He's 100 miles an hour, and it's not slowing him down. He does what he needs to do. He had a victory rally last month, and I want to say he's close. He's close to being free. So very close, and that's a blessing. Like I said, God is really using him as a testimony, a living testimony for everybody. And you got to slow him down because he's 100 miles an hour, and he's one of the loudest and most energetic people. He calms me down, and if he calms me down, he must be high energy, because
Wow. Yeah.
I look at him and say, man, good gracious, Sean. And so I laugh because I'm like, man, I'm thinking I'm high energy. He's high energy, so he's doing really well.
Yeah, Coach, I was looking, and I'm glad to hear that. I was looking at someone posted on social media, Sean Wallace intercepting a pass in the Bayou Classic, and taking it all the way to the house. How he played in college is how he attacks life, and no matter what hurdles placed in front of you, it's the mindset as well. Sometimes the physical may be a little weak, but if the mind is strong, it can help you. So I'm gonna reach out to him, but tell him I said hello, and man, we appreciate Sean Wallace, Coach Sean Wallace, being Coach Sean Wallace.
Oh yeah, and Sean will tell you, Sean was always the smallest guy around. He was like the runt of the group, so it caused him to fight a lot and be tough, and the same way that he was as a player, the same way as he coaches, he takes care of himself. He's not. You can't tell Sean Wallace that you're gonna defeat him. Not gonna do it, because he's not gonna allow you to. He's not gonna allow nothing to defeat him, and to see that, you got to know and love him. A lot of times people misconstrue who he is and how he is sometimes, but he is one of the most passionate. He loves young people. He has a passion and a heart for young people. So Sean is Sean, and so thank God that he sustained him and he's keeping him and allow him to do what he does.
And see, Charles and Will, and when you look at the staff, if you look at it from outside, you got a Sean Watch, have Coach Graves. Somebody asked me before, has Coach Graves kind of de-energized a little bit? No. We remember Coach Graves on the sideline getting his point. Then you have like Coach Nivens. To me, Coach Nivens is, I don't know too much. I guess he gets the job done. Then you have a Coach McNair who's on the staff. And, man, I saw him when I think you guys were doing a clinic for the women.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, look at Coach McNair. He seems content.
Oh, he loves it.
I'm still trying to get used to that blue and gold on him compared to that purple watch it, Charles. But you look at the staff, it reflects humanity. Coaches are people as well.
Yeah, a long time ago when I knew that I was going to be a football coach in the second grade. And as I grew older, I always used to pray and ask God for the type of coaches. And he blessed me with the coaching staff that I have. And it's a staff of balance. It's a staff of wisdom. I have three head football coaches on my staff. And then I have other guys that have been coordinators, be it college or high school. So leadership matters, wisdom matters. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I lean on, I can't tell you how much I lean on Coach Totten, Coach McNair, and Coach Todd. I lean on those guys so much about situations. Most of the time, Coach Mack, myself, Coach Totten, and Coach Frederick and Coach Burrell, we usually go to lunch together every day. And so we spend a lot of time, a lot of times when they can't find me in my office, I'm hiding out in Coach Mack's office. And so Coach Mack got the door kind of cracked, or he has it closed, so they're looking for me. And then they say, "Oh, this is where he hiding out at." And me and Coach Mack in there, we looking at something, we talking. Just to have those relationships are golden. And it's people say, man, I don't know if I would have hired. Listen, man, I don't coach looking over my back. And to have an opportunity, I tell you what, you take a poll and you ask these other coaches if they had a chance to hire Coach Willie Todd and Coach McNair and Coach Todd and some of these other coaches on their staffs, they do it in a heartbeat. So because the wisdom aspects of it is, I would have been a fool to think this is my first full-time head coaching position and not go and get guys that have an opportunity to go get guys that have sat in this seat, have been successful in this seat, that can help me and lead and guide me to do what I need to do. And these guys give me the utmost respect. So I'm appreciative. I'm thankful for it. And we have a good time together. Coach Mack, as you saw him on that video out there running around at the Ladies on the Bluff clinic, he was the same way with the elite clinic and the Little Jaguars. He's having the time of his life. He's enjoying it. He said, to get back to coaching, he's got a chance to get back to coaching. And I tell you, he does a great job. I like when the thing that I like most about him, if we're having a team meeting or we're in a team setting and we talking to the guys, and then, I ask the coaches, do they have anything to say? And then he interjects his wisdom. And I tell you, he gets me so fired up sometimes when he gets to talking. I'm like, yes, sir. I say, yeah, coach, sign me up, coach.
Sign me up.
That's Coach McNair.
Yeah.
It's really a great human interest story. I'm sure Coach McNair had other opportunities, but to come to Southern University, I know I can just say I appreciate it as a Southern University alum. Coach Graves, we could go on a long time, but we'll end it here. Any closing comments you would like to make to not only the Jaguar Nation, but the SWAC Nation and the HBCU Nation?
Well, I think, first of all, thank you all for having me. As always, it's been a pleasure. I think that, again, I'm excited, looking forward to the season. It's going to be a lot of excitement in the Southwest Athletic Conference. I think we have a number of new coaches, new faces, and it's going to make it very exciting. SWAC football is always exciting. I think the MEAC's going to do a great job over there as well. I think it's SIAC, CIAA, the independents. I think college football, we're in a good place. I had a chance to speak at a place the other day, and I said, despite all the things that are happening, we'll find a way to rise to the top and shine, and we'll sustain ourselves. Of course, we need help. From outside sources to help us do what we need to do. But we're not sitting around, woe is me, because we've survived this long, over 100 and some years. So I look forward to what we're doing. So, again, I look forward to Tuesday. I look forward to the season. I hope everybody comes out and supports every program. Let's home and on the road. And I see these comments. See you in Jackson, Coach Graves.
Oh yeah, the Jackson State coach. Can I run the team out, please? Let me run the team out.
Carlos, I just told. Oh yeah, Carlos, you can run them out. I love it. I love that old college football, HBCU football atmosphere, the swagger. We're not gonna sit back and sit on our hands. We're gonna compete just like everybody else. It's gonna be an exciting time, and I look forward to the opportunity. And then, again, Carlos, I'm excited about my New York Knicks. And
go ahead, Coach.
After that, it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me if I didn't say that. I had to say that. Hey, but seriously, it's been great. I'm looking forward to a great year for our conference, and I'm just excited. I'm honored and I'm humbled to be the head football coach at Southern University, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make this alumni, the administration, Jaguar Nation. I want to do everything in my power to make you all proud of us. Go Jags.
On that note, what a way to end it. Appreciate it, Coach Graves. See you Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
All right. That was Coach Terrence Graves. It's always interesting talking with Coach Graves, Wheeler. Still, he's old school.
Yeah.
Like yourself. And I wish him the most success. I'm telling you. Because if things go the way I think it has a possibility of going, you're talking about a fan base that's starved.
Mm-hmm.
Look out. The top will be blown off. But you got to get it done. You got to get it done.
But I think patience is the order of the day. No ifs, ands, and buts about that. And, while everybody's excited right now, we know they're called fans for a reason. And we know that at the first sign of trouble, a lot of them will kind of tuck their tails between their legs and, run or talk smack, that sort of thing. But Coach has been around for a while. He's deserved this opportunity, and he deserves every chance to get it done. So for me, patience is the order of the day, and from an athletic administrative point of view, we want to make sure that we're supporting him every step of the way, that we are that sounding board that he's going to need, because at the end of the day, there are going to be some things that he's going to need to go in and talk to Coach Banks about that he might not necessarily want to talk to any of his coordinators or any of his assistant coaches about. And, so it behooves Coach Banks to be the person that he's always been, being a former coach himself. He knows the deal, And he knows that patience is going to be the order of the day. And while we want, Coach Graves to go undefeated or what have you and win right now, we know that it's going to be a tough road, no doubt about that. And, we have to look at ways of grading him that is not only connected to wins and losses, but looking at the way that we play, looking at the toughness, looking at mistake-free football, all those kinds of things we want to throw into the equation when we look at how we're going to grade Coach Graves in year one of this challenge.
Charles, people would say if Wheeler's an AD, me and you are not. Grading, that's interesting. Patience, that's another good word. Also, I think Wheeler said, besides patience, when things get tough, then the tough have to get going, and don't run at the first sign of trouble. Why does that remind me of? Carlos B. Carlos, don't do it. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't do it, Carlos. That reminds me of some people in a political party. Grow a spine. On that note, I didn't get in trouble, hopefully. But sometimes there's good trouble. There's good trouble sometimes, Charles.
Yeah, there is. There's no question about that. I'll say I really didn't know a lot about Coach Graves, but in the interviews that you've done with him here on this platform, on your show, I think he's wonderful. He can tell the stories. And I think being a coach, a part of that is being personable. And he's definitely that. When you're that type of person, you're not stiff. You can talk to the fans. And I think that helps in times of trouble. If you were a jerk and you're not winning, that just aggravates the situation. Some coaches can be jerks. A lot of them are. But Coach Graves doesn't appear to be that way. And so when times get tough, he's going to look you in the eye and tell you what's going on. And I think the personality part of it helps. So I think, for that, I think Jaguar fans appreciate it. I appreciate it. Don't know about the whole kicking situation when he talked about that. I think there was a sort of an intentional shot there, and I had to, but it is.
I didn't want to mention it. I didn't want to mention
absolutely,
it. But,
we've lost some kickers. You cannot hide that fact. We've lost some kickers to Southern University, but it just, he kind of threw that in there, and I get it. But I think Coach Graves is a real good dude, and hey, if he can get off to a good start, and as you mentioned, Carlos, and this, Jaguar fans are starving or rabid for something good to happen on the football field because they've got the fan base, they've got the support, they've got all that. And when they're winning, man, that Bayou Classic could be, if that's for the division with Coach Graves and what he's done year one, that thing could be off the charts. But, you got to take it one game at a time. We got to go there on their homecoming, and that's going to be drama in itself. I'll say that right now, and I've been saying it for 6 months. I'm going to continue to say that because that's going to be a huge game on your guys' homecoming. But Coach Graves is a real good dude. I'm learning that. And if he's successful, there's going to be a lot of support in Baton Rouge.
And Carlos, what I like probably the most is that he's not afraid not to be the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
And that's a rarity right there.
Yeah.
That's the number one quality of any good coach, any good administrator. You don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
You can't be afraid to hire somebody who knows a little more than you. You can't be afraid to lean on those people, in terms of their areas of expertise or what have you, and that's the sign of a good coach right there. Not a lot of guys out there, Carlos, that would have made those hires, in terms of hiring ex-head coaches, from the collegiate ranks. Not a lot of folk that would do that because they'd be thinking about whether or not somebody's looking at their job or what have you, or somebody trying to stab me in the back and all that sort of thing, but to welcome, that competition, to welcome that knowledge, it says a lot about Coach Graves, and it just makes you want to root for him even more.
Yeah.
It's just so important. It is.
Yeah. Well said, because if we are successful, then each individual is successful, because it's a team. And I've said that many times. I want the best. If I need some help with broadcasting, I text Charles. Administrative issue, I text Willa Brown. Marketing and branding, I text Dr. Cavill. I talk to my colleagues at Black College Sports Network. They're a team. And so as a team, we win.
I'll add one other caveat to that, Carlos.
I've always told people, I don't want your job. I want my job.
No.
So at the end of the day,
yeah.
At the end of the day, if somebody notices that, I'm doing a good job and, they want to hire me to run their program, that I want my job. I don't want your job. So, let's get over the fact that I got 30 years of experience and all that sort of thing. And, with Carlos, I've ran into that now. Let's be quite frank. I've ran into that where folk have probably been a little bit apprehensive about, putting me on their staff or what have you, because of all the experience that I have, that sort of thing. Might not want to hire Will Brown. He might get your job, all that sort of thing. And, but like I said, I always address that up front. Once again, I don't want your job. I want my job. And my job will come, providing that I do my job for you, to make you shine and make you be the best administrator that's around.
Yeah.
I agree. Well said, Charles.
And if you need some help with your Miami Heat, you can always pick up the phone and call Pat Riley.
Well,
hey, you got those resources at Jeremy Bowles.
I'm still with my Miami Heat, but yeah, there is pressure, and I always talk about expectations, and at every institution, whether it's the fans, they have expectations, ADs have expectations, alumni have expectations. That is very important. Let's see if I can pull quickly, because we got about 5 minutes left. Emmett Jones says Coach Graves waited a long time for this opportunity to run his own ship. And we talked about opportunity. And I think Willa said it months ago. Opportunity is important. And you have people that are still waiting on an opportunity to prove themselves. And they just want the opportunity. And so that is so important. And whether he fails to succeed, at least he has the opportunity to showcase that. But those who are still in line, and then someone comes from out of the bullpen and comes in front of them, it's just not fair. But I know life's not fair. But I'm always for the person to have that opportunity to be successful. Once again, we want you to hit the like button, thumbs up button, the notification, not only this show, the Coach Brown Show, but every show on the Black College Sports Network, as we get ready to wrap up this week's edition. Charles, Birmingham, Tuesday. I'm leaving out with the Entourage Monday, and it's sometimes you don't miss something until you miss it. And last year I wasn't able to make it because of health issues, and once again. Thanks to everyone who constantly asks me how I'm doing. Sometimes you really appreciate that, because you have some days not so good, but I can say this: more of the days are good than bad. And so get a chance to see the colleagues there who I haven't seen in a couple of years. Charles, if you come through town, what have you, I get a chance to see you all the time. We'll get a debate and argue as usual.
Oh yeah,
in Birmingham, but some of the others I hadn't seen in a few years. I appreciate you, and so I'm excited. So the entourage is back up and running. We'll roll in Monday, a little bit after noon, and we'll roll out a little bit after 1 or 2. And then I'll be in Baton Rouge. Now, Wheeler, I hope I don't get a ticket this time because I have a heavy foot and I'm traveling I-59. What a beautiful stretch across from Hattiesburg to Meridian. Just a nice drive, Charles. You've driven it before, but sometimes the little things that you miss, I appreciate it.
Well, Carlos, it was good that you're back, because last year people were asking about you, and so I'm glad that you'll be back in the saddle. The gang's all back, and looking forward to all the storylines, all the drama, all the interviews, all the laughing and cussing and fussing. I'm looking forward to all that come Tuesday.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try not to start any mess. But
good luck with that one. Good luck with that one.
And just to shake the commissioner's hand and Andrew Roberts, and I promise I'll be on good behavior. And Will, I'm intrigued by TC Taylor. That guy's interesting. He's kind of quiet, but confident, quiet. I'm going after the Jackson State coaches and players. I miss him. On that note, we got less than a minute. A quick closing comment, Wheeler and Charles.
I appreciate being on the show, no doubt about it. Gives me an opportunity to stay in the game and stay fresh in the game. And, can't put a price tag on it, Carlos. So, I'm very appreciative of you and Charles, taking me in and, guiding me through this thing. And so I just want to say thank you to both you guys and Coach Pettaway.
Appreciate it, Charles.
Appreciate you, Carlos. Appreciate you, Wheeler Brown. Appreciate everybody and the support. And looking forward to football season. Let's go.
There you go. Now, Pat, I told you I would call you. I told you I would call you. And Coach Graves is a good guy. But hey, the Knicks are in position. What are you doing? In Philadelphia? Oh, want to thank everybody, and also Melody included, our producer. We couldn't do it without her. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday at 11 a.m. for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. As always, peace and God bless.